Woza Talking Sundowns. A match that was expected to be won by Mamelodi Sundowns. Mamelodi Sundowns against Magesi, getting 3-0. There was a red card, which made things probably a little bit easier. But the result is not very unexpected. Sundowns were favorites to win this. Magesi are with Gallants, and maybe even Siwelele as one of the teams. If they don't get it together, they could be in the relegation zone. So here it was clear from the get-go. I've got Coach Farouk, I've got Sheikh Ngwenya, Mamelodi Sundowns legend, Coach Farouk, a passionate person, passionate and well-researched person on youngsters. There's two phases here, gents. Shege, I want to talk about a big injury to Themba Zwane and what it means to the future of that position. There are youngsters knocking on the door, Coach Farouk. Are they doing enough to stake their claim and being that next Themba Zwane? We need to make a comparison. Bogazi is in the running to be an AFCON player and World Cup player for Bafana Bafana, probably even a starter. Rele Mufokeng is in that conversation to be in the starting 11 for Bafana Bafana right now. Are the Sundowns youngsters close to that? So this is the conversation, gents, that we can have. And I'm hoping we can help the viewers that will subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Coach Farouk, Sheikhs are the type of people that you want to log on to share their expertise, because Sheikhs is coming from that Sundowns point of view where we need a star, Shege. You cannot have your star injured and sitting on the bench, right? Coach Farouk, somebody's got to step up and tell us that they are the next one, or they are the one right now, because it's clearly the Pirates youngsters are showing us that if you play well, you can get your opportunities. Shege, big injury to Themba Zwane. There was obviously anticipation and excitement for him to come back and touch the ball, but, coming off the bench, this was a run that was supposed to be a light run for him to get back into full fitness. It didn't quite work out that way.
Yeah, Umjaka, that was very heartbreaking for me to see. I was so excited to see him back. As you know, Shikabala is the heart and soul of that team of Mamelodi Sundowns. Is the darling of the Sundowns faithful. So everybody was excited to see him back, but unfortunately, that injury seems like it's still bothering him. But yeah, I'm not writing him off as of yet. He's a strong character player. He's a disciplined, hardworking player. So he'll bounce back. But yeah, no, for sure. I think it's time now for other youngsters in the team to stake their claim, to pick up their hand and say that, you know what, I can take over this role. I can be the next Mshishi. Very difficult player to replace if possible. But yeah, somebody needs to step up and say, I can take the baton. The youngsters came in today, Litlaku, scoring his first goal for the team. I think that should give him a lot of confidence. Very, very, very smart player. I think he's a quality player, and him getting a goal today should give him confidence to do more. We should see more from him. We also saw Mabena come in. So yeah, those are the players that should be thinking now, I can do this. The more chances given by the coach, I think that's what's going to determine the Bafana factor. For the likes of your Mabena, the more they get the opportunity in the team, and you have to perform in the team, then you get the opportunity. We all know that Hugo Bruce gives the youngsters a chance. So you always have a chance if you do well within your team. So yeah, those are the likes of your Mabena are definitely in line. Those are quality players. We know the more game time they have, they will show what they're capable of.
Now, Coach Farouk, we've seen this script before. You can go back. There was Jomo Sono, right? When he came into Pirates, Jomo Sono did what he needed to do, whether he was in high school or whatever he was. Dr. Kumalo, yes, there were people who knew Jomo Sono. When Doctor came on the pitch, everybody was convinced, right? It was Charity Cup, whatever it was at that time where he got his debut. Jabu Pule, Vodacom Challenge. Boom, coach. As soon as he was there, we all knew. We are saying all these things about these youngsters who have obviously got the talent, coach. Is it giving you the same feeling that you got from these kind of guys that I've mentioned? Because replacing a Themba Zwane, you need to have that aura.
Well, firstly, you must understand that Sundowns have a template that they work on when it comes to youth development. If you look at Zwane, you're mentioning Zwane. Zwane is not a product of Sundowns. Moise Ribeiro, who left them. The only one that I think is Khoza now playing in the defense. But generally, Sundowns haven't been successful in blooding in youngsters into that first team. And the reason is quite simple. The expectation is so great. You look at the Mabena, a player that should have had more minutes in the past, didn't get much minutes. And when he does get minutes, he can't perform. Player can only perform if he gets the necessary minutes. This comes back to the technical side of the game where you've got to plan to blood in these players systematically. This is what we did with Mushin and I. We were able to blood in 7 players into the first team. And you can remember Operation Fat Alles at the time. The reason was it was strategic. I don't think it's strategic now. If you look, yes, Sundowns won today and everybody's celebrating. But was the performance of what we expect? No. We expect the team that we saw last year in the World Club Championship. Last season, we saw them here. We saw, even if there was a bump in the road, you knew the next time you saw Sundowns, you knew what to expect. Today, possession turnover was a lot more than what we expect. Their clinical finishing is lacking. The first goal, wonderful. I love to see this youngster score. But again, it was a smash and grab. You look at Morena. Morena played that ball in. He was on the end of it. Letlatu scored a nice goal. It took them a while. It took them a while to get that second goal. And once again, they did it against a 10-man Magesi who was sitting back with numbers. It's going to happen when you sit back against Sundowns. You are going to concede because there's going to be mistakes defensively, and that's what happened. Personally, I just think the vintage Sundowns is not what we're witnessing. And coming back to those younger players that we speak about, the Mabenas. I mean, if you look at it now, if I'm sitting on the bench, with all fairness, and the game is going the way it is going, I'm going to probably look at bringing in a Shalulile for Mabena. Give the boy a chance with your coach deep. But what did Shalulile do wrong? I'm just saying the game wasn't convincing enough. And Shalu is the type of player that can come on and make a huge difference. Similarly to the other academy graduates that we don't see much of. You know, I'm so happy for Khoza. Really. I think this boy, if they constantly give this boy more game time, we're going to see a player in the mold of Lucas Radebe. He is so confident. He dominates the defensive third. And he's a leader. Yes, he made one mistake. That's okay. Shakes will tell you. Shakes wore that shirt. That shirt is not an easy shirt to put on. And I think the youngsters need to up their game. Sometimes I think I go back to what I heard Teko Modisi say the other day. Too much of this television and that is making these youngsters dizzy at times. You know, I'm not saying no TV, but they need to first earn that respect and that ability to be on that stage. I think sometimes players at that level are not taking the game as serious as our players in the past. You know, it's a case of I'm entitled. No, you can't be entitled. Sometimes it's a big club, sir.
You remember the Sundowns under Pizzo? How many goals did Cheese score in that game? I think Cheese scored like 4 goals, 6 goals on his own. But under Pizzo, it was the same. Nedbank Cup, you put the guys to the sword, Cheese, when it shakes. Yeah? Here we are, a Magesi already written. I'm sure a lot of betting slips were out there saying Sundowns are winning this game against Magesi. So that's clear. Now, this Magesi gets a red card. Now they've got 10 men. Coach Farouk says here they're sitting back, waiting for you, Mshishi. I only saw Ikram Reyners put up his hand because at least there was a conversation about a hat trick, Mshishi. As Reyners came off the bench to at least start a conversation about a hat trick. Who else started a conversation in a game that was there for the taking? Who else, Mshishi, can you pick out and say, you know what? That guy gave me a conversation to take home and talk about. Because that's what Chabupule, Dr. Kumalo, and these guys all did. Even in the 10 minutes they got, even in the 5 minutes they got, whatever they got, we all went home and were talking about whether it was a hairstyle, a trick that he did, a goal that he scored. There was a conversation. Here we are, Mshege, a Sundowns that used to kill when the opportunity arises. Now we're only talking about Ikram Reyners, who was trying to score more goals than true.
Yeah, Mjaga, like Coach Farouk said, it's kind of difficult to find to see that Sundowns that we normally used to, the one that's so well oiled. Uh you 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 would think with the Magesi team that looked so depleted, with the red card that will totally dominate them. But they got a couple of opportunities with that red card, and we were not as fluent as usual in terms of our passing game, and this has been happening for a while now. This is not the first game. So yeah, those so the positive to me today would be just the seeing the likes of Yomvala back, Lukaku getting a goal, and of course Reyners. Like I said before, Jaga, that Reyners for me will be the top goal scorer of the season this season. I think my bet is coming right there with Betway, so yeah, but definitely not the Sundowns that we used to, not the fluency that we are used to from a Sundowns team, and this is what is disappointing a lot of the supporters, and it's not making it easy to see Mshishi leaving the field like that, because he's the one that normally gets us singing. Football is about rhythm. Coach Farouk knows all about it. It's all about that music on the field, and you need a player like Mshishi. You need somebody who's creative, who can make something out of nothing. And right now it's difficult to see who can take over and do that. Mabena's still a young man. You can understand his he wants to go out there and he wants to prove that he's a good player, but it's very difficult, when you're getting 30 minutes and then the next game you probably don't get game time and then you get another 15 minutes there. So it's very difficult to get in that match groove. But yeah, let's hope things will change. We all know Sundowns is Shushan and piano, and that's what we want to see more than
Yes,
anything. We want to see a solid Shushan piano team.
I like that you say that, Coach Farouk. As we close, you know, Coach, you watch Kasi games. Um, I don't remember some of the scores when I watch Kasi games, but I remember the moments, the moments of magic that are created. It's these things, Coach Farouk. Again, it's like I'm drumming, drumming up Jamupule. He touched the ball first touch. The whole stadium knew it was something. And some of those matches, I don't remember the score, but I remember what Jamupule was doing. You know, um, are we getting enough of this, coach? And how are we gonna get this, coach?
We need these type of players. You see, when Rene touches the ball at Orlando Pirates, we all become excited, whether we support Pirates or not. We love the boy. He brings such a lot of joy to people, both Pirates fans and us. I look at it and I say, Alembe, is he the only creative player now in that midfield? We must get over Ribeiro. He's gone. He's gone. He's finished. He's in Spain. And Zwane didn't suffer, apparently, when the coach said post-match, he didn't suffer from the same injury. It was another one. Where did it happen? I didn't see it on the field. I watched the game. So I'm curious. What is going on? Let's not fool each other. You can't take a team that has been performing so well, my brother, and overnight, within 2 months, we see a different team. It doesn't look like the guys are as motivated to play as before. Whether it be some things that we're not aware of, Mudao could be a factor. Yes, we know Mokoena wasn't there today, but these are the key players. Mudao, Mokoena, Zwane, they are the players that make things happen for the Sundowns team. They are the players that gave the Sundowns that identity that Sheikh spoke about, Shusha and Pian. That's what people come to expect when they come to the stadium. Yes, winning is important, but against Magesi, it's a given. I'm saying now, when the coach makes a statement like he told his players, I don't care how you win, even if you win ugly, I become worried. Because Sundowns is not a team that plays ugly. And please don't get me wrong. No problem with the coach. I think the coach is a good coach. But we have to be careful. When we say a team, an institution like Sundowns is allowed to play ugly for points, it means now we're not building on the performance. And you and I and Sheikhs know performance is more important than just the result, because performance will take us throughout the season to win silverware. Result could be a one-off, then we find ourselves in trouble the next time around. Because my advice to Sundown is get back that identity, get back that philosophy that made teams fear. Now, after today, I think there's teams that are saying, you know what, when we play Sundowns, we have a good chance. In the past, that wasn't the case. People knew this is a team that destroys anything in their path.
Yo, Mshege, we'll be doing a disservice to that statement if we add anything to this. Yeah, it spells it clear. You know, killer instinct, pragmatism, dominance, giving us a reminder, like lunchbox, Nje, to take home and say, Yazini, I was watching a Sundowns game. It was the only game on Sunday. Everybody was free to watch that game. You know, so a lot to think about. There's excitement, of course, with the youngsters, but we've got to see something. Because we're going to hear the news about Themba Zwane tomorrow or later today. And we're going to have to deal. As a country, as a club, everybody's going to have to deal and say, you know, has anybody said to themselves that they are ready to take over and be that guy? Those are the questions that everybody's going to be talking about on Monday. You know, because this is a big injury to Mzansi. You know, coming off the bench in a game you're supposed to be a light work for you to get back to full fitness. Now Coach Farouk is even raising alarm bells and saying it might be another injury. Yeah, bo. So let's shut it down there. Keep something for the SoccerBeat family. We'll talk because there's a lot to chew on as soon as we hear those news. We're going to have to react, Coach Farouk and Sheikhs. Thank you for joining me. Talking Sundowns. Umjaka here. I'll let the beat do the talking.
SoccerBeat, what?